Every atom in your body has a story. The hydrogen in water was born near the beginning of time. The carbon in your cells was forged deep inside ancient stars. The iron in your blood was created in a cosmic furnace, and the gold in a ring or necklace may have come from one of the most violent collisions in the universe. When we look at the periodic table, it feels complete, neat, ordered, permanent, a finished map of matter. But the universe didn't make all of those elements at once. In the beginning, almost none of them existed. So how did the universe build the periodic table? Part 1. The first elements. To answer that, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Right after the Big Bang, the universe was nothing like it is today. There were no atoms, no stars, no planets, no chemistry, just an unimaginably hot, dense sea of energy and particles. As the universe expanded, it began to cool. And as it cooled, the first building blocks of matter started to appear. Protons formed, neutrons formed, and within the first few minutes, some of those particles combined to create the first atomic nuclei. Most of them were hydrogen, some were helium, and there were tiny traces of lithium. That was the opening inventory of the universe. No carbon, no oxygen, no nitrogen, no iron, no gold. Just the lightest elements and a long future ahead. In other words, the early universe did not create the full periodic table. It only created the foundation. Everything else had to come later. Part 2. The universe lights its first fires. At first, the cosmos was chemically simple. Huge clouds of hydrogen and helium drifted through space. Over time, gravity pulled some of that gas together. The clouds collapsed inward, pressure rose, temperature climbed, and then, for the first time, stars were born. This changed everything, because stars are not just bright objects in the sky. They are element factories. Inside a star's core, conditions become so extreme that hydrogen nuclei are forced together. They fuse, and when they do, they form helium and release enormous amounts of energy. That energy is what makes stars shine. So, in a very real sense, every star is powered by turning one element into another. And that process was the next major step in building the periodic table. The first stars began with hydrogen and helium, but they did not end that way, because stars evolve. And as they evolve, they begin to create new elements the early universe could not make on its own. Part 3. How stars forge new elements. For most of a star's life, hydrogen fusion is the main source of power. But eventually, the hydrogen in the core begins to run low. Then, gravity starts to squeeze the core even harder. The temperature rises again, and under those new conditions, helium can begin to fuse. That creates carbon. And once carbon exists, even more possibilities open up. In large stars, fusion continues step by step, building heavier and heavier elements: carbon, oxygen, neon, magnesium, silicon, sulfur. Layer by layer, the star becomes more chemically complex. You can almost think of a massive star as a cosmic furnace with different zones, each one making different ingredients. Over time, the star builds a richer internal structure, like an onion made of fire, pressure, and nuclear reactions. This is where many of the elements essential to life are born. The carbon that forms the backbone of biology, the oxygen we breathe, the calcium in bones, the silicon that helps shape rocky planets and modern technology. None of these existed at the beginning. Stars had to make them. And yet, even stars have limits, because eventually they reach one of the most important turning points in the universe: iron. Iron is special. Up to iron, fusion inside stars can release energy. That means the star can keep using fusion to support itself against the crushing force of gravity. But iron changes the rules. Once a star starts building an iron core, fusion is no longer a good source of power. Trying to fuse iron into heavier elements doesn't release energy the way earlier fusion does. It costs energy, and that means the star is approaching a crisis. For a massive star, this is the beginning of the end, because once enough iron builds up in the core, the balance breaks. For millions of years, the star has been fighting gravity with the outward pressure of fusion. Now that support is failing. Gravity wins. The core collapses in a fraction of a second, and what happens next is one of the most dramatic events in the cosmos, a supernova. Part 5. Supernovas, death that creates. A supernova is not just an explosion. It is the violent death of a massive star and one of the most important creation events in the universe. When the core collapses, the star's outer layers are blasted outward with imaginable force. For a brief moment, temperatures and pressures become extreme, beyond ordinary stellar life. And in those extreme conditions, new elements can form. But supernovas do something even more important. They scatter matter. Everything the star spent its life making, carbon, oxygen, silicon, sulfur, and iron, gets thrown into space. The star dies, but its elements survive. They spread into surrounding clouds of gas and dust, enriching the cosmos with new material. That material will later become part of new stars, new planets, new moons, and asteroids and comets. And eventually, life. So supernovas are not only endings, they are distribution systems of the universe's growing inventory of elements. Without them, the cosmos would remain far simpler. No rich rocky worlds, no complex atmospheres, no biology like ours. But even supernovas don't explain everything, because some of the heaviest elements in existence require something even more extreme. Part 6. Where gold and uranium come from. Think about gold, or platinum, or uranium. These are heavy elements, far heavier than the elements stars can easily build through ordinary fusion. For a long time, scientists suspected supernovas might be the main source of all of them. But modern evidence points to another powerful origin story for many of the heaviest elements: collisions between neutron stars. Neutron stars are the collapsed remnants of massive stars. They are incredibly small, incredibly dense, and unbelievably extreme. A single teaspoon of neutron star matter would weigh billions of tons on Earth. Now, imagine two of these objects orbiting each other, spiraling inward, moving faster and faster until they finally collide. When they do, the universe briefly creates one of the most violent environments known to science. And in that moment, some of the heaviest elements can be forged: gold, platinum, uranium, and others near the far end of the periodic table. So the gold people wear may not simply be from space in a vague sense. It may be the debris of ancient neutron star collisions, events so catastrophic they reshaped the chemistry of entire regions of the galaxy. That is how far the story of the elements goes, from the quiet formation of hydrogen to the death of stars to collisions of ultra-dense stellar remnants. The periodic table is not just a scientific tool, it's a record of cosmic history. A timeline of what the universe learned how to create, from the first light elements after the Big Bang to the heaviest atoms born in stellar catastrophe. When you look at hydrogen, you're looking at the beginning. When you look at carbon, oxygen, and iron, you're looking at the life cycles of stars. When you look at gold or uranium, you may be looking at the aftermath of some of the most extreme events in existence. The periodic table is not just a scientific tool, it's a map of where everything came from, including you. And if every element has a story, then there's only one place to start, with the first one.